Thank you, Chairman. Look, time is pressing on, so I'm just going to cut down what I was going to ask, which is about participation and particularly post-COVID, post-lockdown, the role that football can play in encouraging exercise and healthy living, as well as all the mental health benefits that come from participation. But I wanted to press you particularly on the role of football with girls and to follow up a little on what Alex and others have been asking about. So I was just looking up the figures for the United States, and these days, as you know, soccer has a lower participation rate still than basketball, but it is comparable to other sports with children of secondary, what we would call secondary school age. But the striking statistic is that participation among girls of high school age in high school soccer is at 86% the level of boys. And you know, a lot of the things, the constraining factors you were mentioning, like distances and urban living and high rates of people from ethnic minority communities, they're no different in America. So I wondered if you think it is just a matter of money, or is there something else that they are doing that we are not doing, which has encouraged more girls to play the game?
Oh, undoubtedly. I mean, the US, in terms of women's soccer, are who most people will look to as role models. For example, there's a lot more participation across all age groups, all ethnicities, all demographics. A good route into a good education in the USA is to win a sports scholarship. There are lots of football scholarships to be had for girls. So they don't have to choose whether to be a professional sportsman or woman or have an education. They can have both, right? And you can go to many universities and say, yep, I've got a sports scholarship for football and come out with a good degree and play top level in top facilities. So there's a lot about
forgive me interrupting, only in the interest of time. I'm not trying to be rude. I mean, that is true for kids like at the top of the game in that age group, but there's also mass participation not in the elite section. What is it that has been done over years? I grant you this doesn't just suddenly appear. What has happened over years in the United States that hasn't happened here? Is it just you haven't got enough money for wildcat centres, or is there something else that we haven't done?
Oh, there's lots we haven't done. I mean, let's not do anything other than we started the journey effectively in 2016, where we said we are going to double the number of female participants between 2016 and 2020, and we succeeded. We appointed Baroness Sue Campbell to lead the charge. She's provided excellent leadership, and she started up the Wildcats program. She's driven the women's national teams hard. She's looked at participation. We've looked at pitches. We've invested millions and millions and millions across the game, but we were probably 10 to 15 years later than the USA in making it a priority. We're now on the same road, and we will get to the same place.
And specifically talking about secondary school age girls, because we know there is a particular issue with dropping out of active sporting participation among large numbers of kids, particularly girls in secondary school. What level of participation, what proportion of girls in secondary school would you like to see playing weekly football?
This is not specifically a football issue, it's a sport issue. When you talk to the leaders of the women's football game, you have to sit down and understand how the women's game is different. And I talked to a coach, and I'm not asserting that this is true, but I talked to a female coach. She said, what's the issue with goalkeepers in the women's game? And she said, young girls, when they take up the game, 6, 7, 8, just don't like having the ball kicked at them hard, right? So they prefer to kick it than have it kicked at them. So, we have to understand that we have to look at different ways of bringing women into the goalkeeper's position. When you look at the issues about growing the game, women these days are equal partners in society. They have jobs, they work weekends. And, you look at it, and that means that they can't play every Saturday because it's their turn, and their partner looks after the child the other weekend, so they can't play every week. That's as true for men. But there is an issue in sport at about 13 or 14 that there's a big dropout of females because, I talked to one black female ex-footballer, and she said, I carried on playing when I was 14, and the other girls called me geezer girl they were implying it was male to carry on playing football. And I got lots of peer group abuse for not giving up sport and, you know, becoming a proper girl and the ideas of the other girls. So there's peer group pressure, there's societal pressure, there's underinvestment, there's differences between the men's and women's game. But now we have the women's game run by women, we're starting to understand what's in the best interest of women rather than men trying to figure out the answer to the question.
Thank you, Julian.